Whoa! Technical difficulties.
Now we're here. Hi.
Good evening.
Oh my gosh. Hello. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. You have just logged on to Mark and Michaela Online, your place for life, love,
and everything in between.
We are here with you every Monday night from 8 to 10 p.m. And the most transformational internet radio station on the web, nightlightradio.com. You are here with us. We are here with you. Tonight is the night. Let's have fun. Let's give ourselves a round of applause for being here.
She needs more energy, ladies and gentlemen.
I know, this is me without the Red Bull. And for those of you guys who are just tuning in from your smartphones via iTunes Top 40 Radio, TuneIn Radio app, and Radio Loyalty, thank you so much for being here again with us. Thank you. And for those of you guys who are watching via your iPads and your computers, make sure you log on to our chat room. Look to the lower right, and you'll see a little sign that says sign in here. Sign in with your lovely and sexy handle if you don't want to be known. And for those of you guys who log on as anonymous, you will be bent over and spanked on your little arses later on this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, the arse as opposed to the ass or the backside. Good evening, good evening, good evening. On this lovely Monday evening in New York. It's gorgeous.
A lovely Monday evening in New York. And I want to give a huge shout out to all of our international listeners that are giving us huge support from overseas. Thank you so much. And for those of you guys who are on the other side of the world watching our replay, thank you. Thank you.
For our Irish friends, Guramahagut. For our French friends, merci.
Oui, monsieur.
For the Germans out there, danke. For the Portuguese, forget what the Portuguese is.
Obrigado.
Obrigado.
Obrigado. Don't sleep on me. I got the little words in there somewhere. So excited to have you guys here. So tonight we're going to break some stuff down for you again. Every week we are here and we share a little bit of our lives with you, and you share a lot of your lives with us.
Thank you.
For those of you guys who are just tuning in, my darling Mark Logue.
I'm in trouble.
What is Mark and Michaela all about? When people come and visit us, what should they expect from us?
It's about loving, it's about giving, it's about taking, it's about making up, it's about breaking up. It's about sex, it's about food, it's about all things good, and everything you're experiencing, everything you're living, everything that you go through on a day-to-day basis. We will be chatting about it, and we'll be showing the bad, and then towards the end of every show we're going to tell you the good and how you can go from that place that's not so empowering to a place that's truly empowering, and we'll give you tips and tricks to get you from there, from level A to level B and beyond.
I love the level A, level B, and beyond. You know, in this striped shirt, he's taking me to the beyond level right now, ladies.
And I had to wear buttons because she keeps pulling them off.
The striped shirt with the buttons is really, I'm just starting to
feel
the animal
tonight.
Come out. So thank you so much for those of you guys who are starting to click and starting to log on. We are seeing you clicking. Thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to have you. Just like Mark Logue just said, we live it, you live it, we share it with you.
90. Oh goodness, 91.
4 years of experience here on this earth. I don't know how to do math. That's okay.
You can guess who's got the most of that, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately.
Well, you know, it really just depends on how much blood I suck out from my willing victims, because vampires never age.
It's rumored that Michaela sucks the blood from the younger people in her life, which is why she never ages. So young people run from her.
Run for your life. And tonight we are talking about exactly that. Emotional vampires and the people who love them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is us, and we are here together talking about this tonight.
Yes, emotional vampires and the people who love them. Have you met any of those people in your life?
Have I met them? Oh, unfortunately, I might have to one of them.
Not going to touch that one.
I know, I'm shouting it out.
Yes.
I'm shouting it out.
Yes.
XXX.
XX.
Put the hex.
Put the hex on the X.
On the X. Sorry. Bam. Okay.
Yes.
Emotional vampires and the people who love them. Why, when we were writing this show this week, my darling Mark Logue
My darling Michaela.
Why did we want to choose and speak about this tonight? Emotional vampires, people who drain us, people who suck us dry. Why was this important to cover in tonight's show?
It's simply because it's such a topical thing, Michaela. It's one of those things, we've all had it. We encounter emotional vampires in our personal life, in our intimate life, in our work life. And unfortunately, sometimes there are times we ourselves can be an emotional vampire without actually knowing it. You know, so you meet that person and says, enough about me, let's talk about you. What do you think of me? Right?
I love that. And I'm going to do this one. Have you guys ever been on one of those dates where the person's like, oh my God, definitely, I really do understand that. But let's talk about me now. And then for 2 hours, they don't let you get a word in edgewise.
Yeah. Regardless of what you say, you could say you've been on a great holiday somewhere, and they'll say, "Oh, I was there too," and they take the conversation and they run with it, and it's gone, and it's back to them. Everything comes back to them.
Yes, and so these people sometimes side of the fence as egomaniacs, right?
Yes.
Sometimes they land on us like attention monsters, right?
Yes.
Sometimes they land on us as self-centered, vacuous shells of human beings.
Very, very much so. They suck the energy from you. It's all about them. It's a black. He or she is in your life, and they are draining the blood, draining the life, and draining the energy from you.
Absolutely. So we want to know from you guys in the chat room right now, have you ever dated, been married to, divorced, and gotten rid of an emotional vampire in your life? Somebody who's drained you, somebody who just takes and sucks the life out of you. But we want to turn the tables around a little bit, don't we, my darling Mark Logue? How are we going to turn the tables around on our listeners and our viewers tonight?
Viewers and listeners, have you ever had a day, ever had a week, ever had a month, ever had a time in your life when it was you? When it was you who was the emotional vampire, when it was you who drained, when it was you who was that vortex that pulled everything in. I know I have. Hey, that's a new sound effect.
Maybe the emotional them, maybe it's you.
I like the sci-fi.
That was kind of cool, right? Maybe the emotional vampire is you.
Yes.
Maybe you have no idea that you are the draining force in your loved one's life. And if that is the case, tonight we're going to break down those walls.
We're going to break them down. The Berlin Wall is coming down tonight. Tonight. So the egomaniac, the emotional vampire.
Yes.
He or she is out there. And we've all dated them. We've
been there.
Been there, done that. And unfortunately, like I said, there's times, Michaela, we are that person.
There have been times.
There have been times.
Do you remember at any point, Mark Logue, in your lovely and wonderful 29 years on this earth?
Can I kiss you now?
Later. Thank you, darling.
You're very welcome.
Do you ever remember being this emotional vampire, being this draining individual, being this egomaniac, being this self-centered vacuum of a person?
Sadly, madly, yes. There was a time in my life when I was the victim, when I was the person.
Okay.
You know, and that's an emotional vampire. The vampire doesn't necessarily have to go out. The vampire can just go into themselves and can implode and pull everybody in and can be the victim and can use emotional manipulation to be the vampire, different type of vampire.
Oh, interesting. Have you guys in the chat room ever been that person where you're just so sad, you're just so depressed, you're just so in your dark place that everything around you gets sucked into your vortex, all the way pulled in? Because look, it's very easy for us, Mark Logue. I love to sing his name over and over again. It makes me happy. It's easy for us to sit here on our high horses, right? Yes. And point the finger at other people, right?
Very
and
much
say,
so.
oh, yeah, they're the emotional vampire. Yeah, they're the draining one. They're this, they're that. What happens when you point one finger at the other person?
There's something looking back at you. 4 looking back at you.
You have
three
fingers,
yes, looking back,
pointing right back at you. So on our show, what we want to do is always break down the thing that is twisting us up, The thing that is irking us, the thing that's keeping us up at night, the thing that's just frustrating us about being in relationships, being in life, being at work, being with our family. We break that down for you, and by the end of the show,
yes, we're going to give you tips.
Yeah,
give
we'll
you
bring
tricks.
it back around.
Going to bring it 100%, bring it 180 back to a point where we're going to help you, the listeners and viewers out there, help you get a handle on this, help you recognize that A, you've been there yourself.
Been there.
You've been subjected to the emotional vampire.
Yes.
And then, of course, we're going to give you the tips and tricks to help you, A, recognize that, and B, not allow that to happen in your life again, either from yourself or by somebody else to you.
Last question for the chat room. Absolutely. He's
Chat
so
room.
darn cute with this striped shirt on tonight. Chat room, I want to know, why are women so attracted to the egomaniac arsehole guy?
That's a good question. I don't know. The bad boy.
The bad boy, the
bad boy.
arsehole guy, right? Everything with a little Irish accent always sounds a little bit better.
fella,
It's just
yes.
it doesn't sound as bad. And why are men so attracted to the biatch vampire? You know that woman that's just a biatch. And you're wondering, he's a nice guy. Why is he?
Why is he
I
with
can
her?
see why he's with her, because look at how she looks, right?
Yes.
But why is he with her?
Yeah.
She is such a little biatch. Not only are you the emotional vampire, right?
Have you been the emotional vampire?
Have you been the emotional vampire? Have you been with the emotional vampire?
And how often?
And how often? Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, wait, what?
Well,
You know, my phone wants to know how often you guys are getting it in. We'll
Let's
get to
get
that
it
later
on.
on. We'll get to that later on. But we also want to know, why are we so attracted to them? Tonight, it's the emotional vampires and the people who
Love them.
That's right, baby. Now, before we go any further, we're going to bring it over to the chat room honor society and see who is in the chat room with us tonight. Let's bring it right over to the chat room right now, and let's go. My darling Mark Logue, who do we have on the chat room with us tonight?
We have Dillis. Dillis is in the house.
Dillis is in the house tonight. Yeah, Dillis. Woo-hoo!
Shout
The
out to
coaching
Dillis.
Cupid.
She's the coaching Cupid, the coaching queen.
The coaching Cupid is here in the chat room with us tonight. Who else do we have?
Somebody sees boobies, Michaela.
Oh, you guys are liking the boobies, huh? Go, well, I wore this look up just for you, my darling babies.
Yes.
Yes.
We also have Z Ali in the house. Thank you, Z Ali, for being with us.
Is here with us tonight. Z Ali. Z Ali is our most dedicated listener. He's been on the air with us almost 4 years. And I'd like to dedicate this song to you, Z Ali. Oh,
What is
we're
it about
back.
Elvis?
And who else do we have in the chat room with us tonight?
Then we have Zuli 77.
Zuli
Zuli's
77
in the house.
is here. Zuli is here, which means we can start the party. When Zuli comes into the chat room, it means that all of the naughty anonymous people are gonna get smacked on their bums.
Spanking.
She's gonna spank you. Number one, number two, she is gonna start the party going with us tonight in the chat room.
Let's get this party started.
Who else do we have in the chat room right now?
We have Chris. Chris.
Just Chris?
Just Chris.
We have just Chris in the house with us tonight.
Well, let's not say
Chris.
just Chris. It's Chris the Amazing. It's Chris the Most. We're not going to say just Chris.
Chris the Amazing?
Chris the Amazing, yes. Chris, thank you.
Chris is here with us tonight. Thank you so much, Chris, for logging on and putting a name into the chat room. We love you, and you are new. I think you might be new.
We're assuming
here
Chris
with
is
us.
a male. Chris could be also a female.
Chris could be. Oh, do we have a Pat? It's going to be a guy. So I'm going to give you a round of applause because you're a guy.
Yes.
I love guys.
Love guys.
Actually, I love girls too. But don't take that the wrong way. I just love everyone. Okay, who else do we have?
She does. And then we have Anon0219.
We have anonymous people in the chat room. Guess what, my little darling Anons? I want you to go ahead and get ready to have your little bums smacked hard for not putting your name into the chat room.
Well,
you're gonna get smacked.
Okay, you spank them. I'm going to go like this.
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
So you can stay it out there. We'll spank because I like big butts. What can I do?
Yeah, he likes them big. He likes them
round.
He just likes them.
I
don't know anybody who really doesn't.
It's true. Well,
like
some men.
But that's not the next topic.
That's not the topic. It's not about big
vampires and the people who love them. At the 9 o'clock hour, we are so excited to have our most amazing life coach and business consultant here with us to speak about the emotional vampire and how she handles that in her life. Coach Lisa Tosti is here all the way from Toronto. Is going to be
in the
here
house.
with us.
Lisa. Lisa is amazing. She's an amazing.
Rusty.
So psyched to have her with us tonight. So psyched to have her with us. Lisa, thank you.
Toasty.
Go Portugal. She's a Portugal fan, we have to say, by the way.
She is.
Yes, so.
She is a Portugal fan.
For the rest of us who are USA fans, let's not hold that against her. So, Lisa, we're not going to hold that against her.
Let's try not to hold that against her. So, Mark, when we were writing this show this week, did you have anything that actually came up for you with the whole emotional vampire thing?
Excuse me?
You know, because... Guys, we write the show every week from scratch.
Yes.
Okay, well, this is original programming. We sit and we have our writing sessions. And when we're writing this stuff, we actually have emotional reactions to this.
Yeah.
What came up for you this week, Mark Lowe,
You know, when we
in the
sit
whole
down,
emotional vampire thing?
When we sat with us, Michaela, and we went through the topic of the emotional vampires, of course you start to look at your history and you start to look at the times in your life you invited somebody into your life who turned out to be an emotional vampire.
Yeah.
And, you know, I asked myself the question, did I see it before I started going out with them?
That is such a great question.
Did
Guys
I
in the
see it?
chat room,
Yeah.
do we see the things? Do we see these things beforehand? And
So that was big. Did I see it?
Yeah.
And my gut, my intuition, which we talk about in this
Yes.
show a lot, told me, yes, I saw it. I ignored the signs. And then it all came to
interesting.
pass. It all came to fruition. She turned out to be me take, can never give me enough.
Sucking you dry.
Suck me dry.
Ooh, actually.
And not in good ways.
And not in a
Not
good
in
way.
good ways.
And
No.
stop.
And that's it. We'll stop it at
Not
that.
in a good way.
Yeah.
So we want to know from you guys, do you know an attention monster in your life? Is there a person in your life that's an attention monster? And have you ever dated or been married to one? Because attention monsters, it's funny, they could never be satisfied, can they?
They're that black hole.
They are the black
I'm
hole,
not
right?
touching that one.
Their need for external stimuli, their need for never-ending reassurance, never-ending reassurance, no matter how much you tell them, oh, honey, you look so nice tonight. How would they interpret that?
No, I don't. Why are you saying that? What do you want?
What do you
What do you
want?
want? What are you after? And you know what's interesting too? When we did this, when we wrote the show, I also thought about people I've worked with in the past. So how many of you out there, viewers and listeners, have come across somebody in your work environment who's also an emotional vampire, who also sucks the life out of you, who also wants all of the attention, and they point outwards with three fingers coming back to themselves.
That coworker.
Yeah, that
at
coworker.
at the weekly meeting who
Yes.
doesn't shut the heck up. Why don't they stop talking?
I know.
Why?
It's the market.
We've all been there.
It's the company.
So do we have any feedback in the chat room right now on our current subject? Bringing it out to the chat room right now.
We have Dillis is coming up with, yes, no too many people who are always needing approval.
Yes,
Yes.
Dillis, thank you so much for being here. Absolutely, 100%. What else do we have?
Zuli replied to Dillis, she goes, yes, I have a call to Goodwill to get a taxi to return him.
Oh, she's returning. Julie77 is returning her emotional vampire.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually. I wonder if there's a return policy.
Oh, it would be so much easier.
People who suck
so
you
much
dry.
easier. But
But here's the
life
thing.
would be boring if that was the case.
That's so true. That's so true. This striped shirt is driving me. Okay, but attention monsters always need reassurance and compliments because that little moment of momentary, it's like a momentary burst of worthiness. Like at that very moment for like 3 to 5 seconds, they feel puffy. They feel, oh. And then what happens to that puffiness? Mark
It
Rose?
gets deflated. It's like the Viagra wears off after an hour. It's like, it disappears. The air gets deflated from the balloon. And unfortunately, when that happens, everybody else that's around them gets sucked into it. It's not just them. It's not just them. You know, the glass is not, it's not even half full.
The glass
is 90% empty.
The glass should have some poison in it, and you should be giving it to the other person. Did I just say that out loud?
Maleficent.
Orange is the new black. I'm sorry. This is Maleficent speaking, not Michaela. But we want to know from you guys, have you ever been out on a date with someone who's like this, who no matter what you say during the date, it's all about them. They're talking about themselves. We're going to show you a quick video of what it's like to be on a date with someone who is an attention monster, egomaniac. And when in our next segment, when we come back, we're going to talk about the breakdown of how the ego is actually broken down, because there's actually, you know, this is a psychological thing we're talking about here, right?
To this, a lot of components to this.
It's not a random thing. Yeah. And we also will go over our celebrity mirror of the evening. In the meantime, let's see if we can put some hints in the chat room on Celebrity Mirror, who our celebrity pop culture icon is for this evening. Actually, what is Celebrity Mirror for people who are just logging on?
Well, you just told them.
Tell them again.
Tell them again. Celebrity Mirror is that pop culture icon who reflects our subject or topic for the week. He or she or they have lived in their life what we're talking about this week. And this is...
Just give them one hint and we'll throw it into the chat room.
Well, it's actually 2 hints.
Okay, 2 hints.
2 hints.
Throwing it into the chat room.
He starred in... One of the films he starred in was Platoon.
Oh,
he was in Platoon. He starred in Platoon.
In the film Platoon.
Yes.
And he also likes to say...
No. Don't give it to him. That's too
all right.
Easy. It's too
he
easy.
starred in the movie Platoon, and it's a guy.
Yes.
Keep it locked right here on Mark and Michaela. Have you ever been on this date? When we come back, egomaniacs and our celebrity mirror of the evening. Don't go away.
Welcome to Let's Be Honest. We're your hosts, Erica.
Here with us, and we are here with you, and it is Rock, and we are going to break down emotional vampires and the people who love them.
Break it down, baby. Break it down.
Yeah, break it. Thank you so much for being here. And for those of you guys who are tuned in to your smartphones via iTunes Top 40 Radio, Radio Loyalty, and TuneIn Radio app, thank you so much for being here.
Doesn't she need more energy, more zest, ladies and gentlemen?
My child.
And in the chat room,
let's start talking about me. Let's talk about me. Hold on.
I want to thank Chris in the chat room. Chris is a man. He's male. Thank you, Chris.
Is a man. Actually, I want to do this, Chris. There you go. Chris.
That's for you, Chris.
He's a man. He's a male.
Came from her, not from me.
Ladies, he's a male.
He's a male.
Thank you so much for being here, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
And for those of you guys who are logged on to the chat room, chatting back and forth and tossing around ideas, thank you so much. And for those of you guys who are on as anonymous, make sure that you put your name into the chat room so that we can shout you out and interact with you on our show. Mark and Michaela Online is an interactive, which means we need you in order for the show to work.
Give us your comments, give us your questions, give us your feedback, or just shout it out. Like it, whatever it is. We want to know we're here because of you.
Okay, so tonight, egomaniacs, self-centered people, emotional vampires, and the people who love them. That is our topic tonight. We want to know from you guys, do you have an egomaniac in your life? Do you have an emotional vampire in your life? Do you have an empty, vacuous shell of a person?
I love that one.
In your life?
Yes.
Are you the emotional vampire? Ouch.
And that's a tough one. And Michaela brought somebody else. You're actually pointing back at yourself. 3 fingers backwards, 1 finger out. And we all have a tendency to do that. We've all had a tendency to do that.
120%. So let's talk a little bit about the ego, because the ego is really what's driving this, and it's kind of a slippery slope, isn't it, Mark Logan? So where does the ego why is the ego dangerous? Like, what is it about the ego that kind of makes it a slippery slope?
The ego is one of those things that it constantly drives. It's never fulfilled. It's never satisfied. It's always wanting more. And it's an unconscious greed-filled monster that only wants to be served. That's the challenge we have with the ego. It's constantly sucking in. It's constantly looking for affirmation. It's constantly looking for to be stroked. The ego has to always be stroked.
The ego has to be stroked
frequently and constantly. Never happy.
It's never happy. And it's funny because the ego bases its highs and lows kind of like a barometer on a weather chart, right?
Yes.
The egomaniacs and the ego bases its barometer on the following things: pleasure, whether it's receiving a pleasurable response, right?
Yes, that's interesting. Yeah.
They base the barometer, or they base its highs and lows on past pain.
Yes.
Ooh. And the last thing it bases its barometer up and down on is future gain. What can I get out of this?
Yes. What's in it for me?
3 things the ego bases its barometer on. It's funny. Pleasure, past pain, and future gain. That's a nice little tidbit that we came up with when we were writing, huh?
Pleasure, past gain, and future.
I'm going to clap for myself on that one.
Yeah, like that.
Well, no, it's pleasure, past pain, and future gain.
That's what I said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so unless these 3 things are happening with the ego, right, on some level, the ego responds. Unless they're getting those 3 things in interaction. In
bountiful amounts.
It has to be bountiful amounts.
Has to be bountiful amounts, yeah.
What happens, it either starts to fight.
Yes.
It flees. Fight, flight.
Or
cry.
Oh, Lord.
You just don't love me. Oh.
I can never make you happy.
Oh, why don't you love me? Never get enough. Never get enough. And they always have to constantly remind you also of how amazing they are.
Well, it was interesting that there was a classic egomaniac.
Right.
He's like, so let's talk about me. What do you think of me? Do you like the pecs? I mean, it doesn't get much better than this, and that's why I'm getting calf implants. It's like the rug that you need to polish off the room, right? So he's a classic example of that typical egomaniac that, I don't know about you, I've sat across the table from the female version of that.
Ooh, you know what? I'm going to give you a boo on this one.
You should give me a clap on that one.
I'm going to clap you, but I'm going to boo them.
Yeah, boo them, absolutely.
You know, men and women, this is not gender specific. Is it, Mark Logue?
This is not gender specific.
This is men and women alike can have the ego that can never quit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, 100%.
We all know the jerk, and we all know the biatch.
No, yes, right? we do. But here's the thing. The problem with the ego in and of itself, is that even if you're told as a child, growing up, that you were smart and talented and lovable, ladies and gentlemen, the ego is part of our psyche that we cannot avoid. And we're going to go into the details of what the ego actually is. But the ego, because it's always hungry, it never satisfied, it always needs, no matter if you grew up in a nice childhood or not.
It has nothing to do with where you grew up.
How that works?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have anything to do with where you grow up. What's the second part to that idea?
To the where you grew up?
No.
What?
Well, the idea that you just started. Doesn't matter where you grew up.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you grew up.
The ego desires the pain thing.
The pain and the pleasure and the present pleasure and the future gain and the past pain. It has nothing to do with where you grew up, what environment you brought up, where there's wealthy, where there's poor. And I was just thinking, this weekend I was out and I saw a child with a father.
Okay.
And that baby was crying, and I looked at the baby and went, "Aw!" And the baby chose at that point. It was like a 4-year-old baby, and the baby chose to cry more.
Oh, to cry even louder!
To cry even louder because she was getting more attention from the mum and the dad. And when I said the daddy gave her a greater hug. So what they don't realize is that they're now stroking the ego of that child, who's going to be later on in life a potential emotional vampire. Does that make sense?
They're already raising the emotional vampire.
Right? Because that child has learned at that young age, ooh, I can get attention this way.
Yes.
Negative attention's attention.
Negative attention is
It's
attention.
still attention.
Our kids, all of us, have developed our egos from 0 to
Yes.
2 years old. By 2 years old,
Yes.
our ego, the desire for need and need
Yes.
and need and need, is already there.
Yes.
Already there. Our kids are already doing it.
And we're making choices at that young age. We don't realize it. If you look all the way back, and I think Lisa, or Coach Lisa, fantastic Lisa,
Lisa will be
from
here at 9
Toronto,
o'clock. Woohoo.
is going to be talking a little bit about that particular subject, how
Yes.
far it goes back. How far it goes back.
Absolutely. So I want to know who our celebrity mirror is tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Do you guys have any idea from the hints that we gave you earlier? Do you have any idea who our celebrity mirror? Now, so celebrity mirror is the pop culture celebrity that represents tonight's topic.
Yes. Is a true reflection of what we're talking about. So we gave them two hints. It was a he.
Okay.
And he was in Platoon, so let's give you another one. He was also in Wall Street. He was also
Okay.
the bad boy in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where he ended up dating Ferris Bueller's sister in jail.
At the end of
the
the
film.
movie,
At the end of the film, yes. And very recently, he had an expression where he said he drank tiger's blood. If that doesn't give it away.
Tiger's
That
blood.
has to give it away.
If you guys don't know who this is, you need to get out more. Do we have any takers on the chat room tonight? We do have a little bit of a delay with our broadcasting, so
Yes.
I'm not surprised that
Yes.
people are not necessarily chiming in. But our celebrity mirror of the evening is
the one and only.
the one, the only
Mr. Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
and here it comes.
Winning Tiger's Blood. Look at me. The show's going to go off the air. He was on 2.5 Men. And when they let him go and he left and they parted ways, he went on a rant. He
absolutely lost his
mind. He lost his mind. He goes, that show's going to be nothing. It's going to go into the toilet without me. It's all because $500,000 an episode, or 1.2 million episode. That's crazy.
So here's the thing about Charlie Sheen. He's notorious for his recurrent battles with drug and alcohol addiction and his negative publicity stunts. I mean, this has been going on for 20 years.
That's his life. He's lived this life.
This has been going on for 20 years. What else should people know about him?
Well, what's interesting about Charlie Sheen too is in the mid 1990s, he admitted spending $50,000 on 27 different prostitutes.
What?
$50,000 on 27 different prostitutes. Talk about being a vampire. Talk about emotional needs. As we all know, sex is a physical act, but it's what drives the sex, what drives us towards sex, is the emotional need that we're lacking. Clearly, he's lacking so much in that he had to go out and get 20. And that's what we know of. That's what he admitted to.
I know.
You can imagine what was going on before that. So.
Exactly. And, in 2002, Charlie Sheen he married actress Denise Richards, and the couple has 2 daughters, Sam and Lola. But in 2006, Charlie Sheen has been torturing the hell out of Denise Richards. I feel so bad.
He shows up on set. He shows up on her movies.
He dumps his next 2 kids on her. Remember when he was
visits her
his
at
kids?
night. He comes to. He's been known to. She was out to dinner with another date, and he shows up and he sits down beside them.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that. Oh no, you didn't. You're not gonna come down and sit next to me. And then go, okay, I don't think so.
I wouldn't be clapping that one. That is more of. Why would your ex show up? That's crazy.
The ex that can never get enough, even if you dump them on their head, they still come back for more.
Know.
And that's that ego. That's that always needing.
Yes.
So he has this bad boy image, and then he also gets together with Brooke Mueller. A bunch of years later, let's see, in 2009, he gets together with Brooke. And then he has 2 more kids. 2 more kids.
Wow.
With Brooke Mueller. Now, Brooke Mueller is another egomaniac. She also has drug, alcohol, attention issues, you name it. She was on reality shows. She was on the Drew, like Dr. Drew show, you know,
Was
like
she one of the people on Dr.
Yeah,
Drew?
she
I
was
didn't
one
know
of the
that.
people
Oh,
I
wow.
think on Dr. Drew, and then she
Yeah.
dropped out after the first day or something.
Wow.
Brooke Mueller is also someone who just needed and needed and needed, but neither. But if you have two people who need and need and need, do they cancel each other out? Is what I want to know.
Well, you know, we've talked about this on the show, Michaela, the law of attraction. And it's not surprising to the viewers and listeners out there that when you're at a certain level,
Yep.
you will attract that in. So regardless of where you are, from bad to good to
Right.
middling to great
Right.
to outstanding, that's what you're going to attract into your life because that's who you are. And you send that into the to Cookie here.
Ooh, you want to get too fluffy?
Yeah, I don't want to get too fluffy, but the universe
too
brings
fluffy.
that back to you. Brings the reflection of you back to you. So the basic law of attraction is that like attracts like. Make sense?
I don't know. I like it, and he just makes me crazy. I like that. You know, I'm gonna give him an Austin Powers because he's just with the shirt and the. Oh.
I just don't have the bad teeth like
Guys
Austin Powers.
in the chat room, do you have any feedback for us on Charlie Sheen, the tiger's blood, when he went off the deep end and says is not human, he is superhuman, and he has tiger's blood running through his veins. Not only that, everything he does is hashtag winning.
Yes, winning Tiger's Blood. Julie77 in the chat room. She says that Charlie's an attention whore.
You know what, Julie,
Absolutely.
that's why you
Spot
are
on,
on
Julie.
the show here with us, because you know exactly what to say. That's why this woman is here. Julie's the best.
Out to you here because you're crocheting a baby blanket and you're listening and you're typing in the chat room. So typical female essence and energy, multitasking,
very
get stuff
happy.
done.
I like it. Julie, keep multitasking. It's giving me a little tingle.
Yes,
That's
she's
great.
got
Thank you so much for
tingle in
those
the
of you
pringle.
guys who are in the chat room with us. Okay, so here's the thing. Celebrity Mirror Mirror, we're going to say goodbye to Charlie Sheen for now. Bye, Charlie Sheen.
Charlie, sorry, we have to let you go. Goodbye. And now, end is near. Charlie, I've got one thing to say.
He's done.
He's done. He's toast. He's
Charlie
out.
Sheen is done.
Charlie's
but here's
out.
the thing. People don't realize. People say, oh, what an egomaniac. Oh, that person has a huge ego. Oh, that person is never satisfied, etc., etc. But what we don't realize is that the ego is a natural, naturally
piece.
occurring piece of the human psyche. It actually has a purpose. And explain to you guys what the purpose is for why we're doing what we're doing, because we
Yes.
think that all this stuff is just random.
Yes.
Right? But the ego and the psyche, the human psychological makeup, has a reason for the ego.
It's there, according to Freud.
According
To Freud.
Sigmund
Siggy.
Freud.
According to Freud, sometimes a cigar is only a cigar, he was known to say. But according to Freud, there are components to the
Yes.
human personality. And the first component of psychoanalytic theory of personality is composed of three elements. The three elements of personality are the id,
Right?
the ego,
Okay.
and the superego.
The id,
The
the ego, and the superego.
Yeah.
Sigmund Freud broke it down in the early 1900s.
I feel like I'm
for
back
us.
in school.
He broke it down for us, okay? And he was like, look, crazy mofos. This is why you guys are doing what you're doing. Psyche.
Yes.
And this is why you could be annoying sometimes. But this is also why you're amazing.
Yes,
The
indeed.
the id, the ego, and the super ego. Okay, so the id. How do we break down really quickly what the id is?
The id is what you have since you are a baby. We're born with the id. So the id is that pleasure principle. It strives for immediate gratification of all desires, wants, and needs. So look, I don't know about you.
Sounds good to me.
Have you seen children and babies? All babies do is cry. They cry. They want milk. Cry. Change me. Cry. I want. Some people get stuck in that for life. They're stuck in that stage where I want. Gimme. So babies only know to take, and they're driven by pleasure.
Okay,
They're
so
driven by pleasure.
babies, our initial structure of our psyche is the id. It's the
Yes.
want, pleasure.
Yes.
Feed me, want me, need me.
Take care
hold
of me.
take
It's
care
all
of
about
me.
me.
Me. Okay.
Because babies, they don't give. We
Give
take
them.
We give to them, and they give us a smile, and we fill up with. Babies really not giving you anything of them because we, as a result of us taking care of them.
Right, but they have no idea really.
Yes, they're
at
not
that point.
thinking of making a contribution to us at all.
Okay, so we have the id. Then a couple years later, right around 2 years old, from 2 to 4 years old, what happens, my darling Marco?
What's interesting is at that point, babies then are told, okay, now you need to start to grow up to be a big boy, Johnny. You need to now start to get potty trained. You need to stop crying at night. You need to sleep through the night.
Be a big boy.
Be a big boy. Be a big girl. Be a big boy. So the id segues into the ego.
Okay,
The
so
ego.
Exactly. So
And the ego is reason.
Ooh, the ego is what we're talking about.
The ego is what we're talking about, and that is reason and self-control. That development into the grown-up, development into the later stages of life.
Oh, okay. So now what we have to do with the ego, what we're learning as a 2 to 4 year old,
As a 2 to 4 year
2
old.
to 4 year old, is now the id wants. The ego says, okay, you could want that, but it has to be realistic.
Yes.
It has to fit into the social standards that mommy and daddy are building for us.
Absolutely. And mommy and daddy teach us then to go to the bathroom. They potty train us. They teach us that it's not good to cry all the time.
Oh,
they teach
okay.
us that big boys and big girls don't cry. Big boys and big girls, they teach them a level of consciousness.
Okay.
Right.
So the ego is structured to feed the id. The id wants.
Gimme.
And the ego figures out a way
To feed them.
to feed
Yes.
the id without getting in trouble.
Yes.
That I love.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh, that was cute.
That
I
was
like
a
that
good
one
one. The bell transition.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Woo! Little fairy dust.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the ego. So ego is your reason and self-control, but ego is that little thing that strategizes.
It
It strategizes on how do we fill our needs and how do we do it in such a way where we can get over on the system.
Yes.
Ah, that's how the ego gets us.
Yes.
Okay, what is the third one in Sigmund Freud's breakdown of the ego and the id?
The id, the ego, and according to Freud, then we have the superego.
Woo, let's do this. Woo, here it goes, and we're done.
We're done. Thank you, ladies and
And
gentlemen.
we're
It's
done.
nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mark and Michaela online is done for the night. Thank you
Okay.
very much. Okay. So the superego, that's that quest for perfection. That's where the spiritual and the philosophical ideals start to come into place. So we now go from being this animal instinct creature to a higher level of consciousness and a higher level of spirit and a higher level of choice. So Freud's belief was that we're more than animal, we are choice and spirit. And that choice and spirit is what separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom.
So maybe your conscience comes into play here. Maybe your philosophical ideas come into play here. Maybe your spiritual ideals, like what's right or wrong according to your religion.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Values. There's
Your
a greater
values.
values, beliefs. So you start to have a conscious awareness, a conscious focus
Oh,
focus on higher level thinking and spirituality. And it's superego acts to perfect and civilize. The idea is to perfect and civilize our behavior.
So we want. We
Yes.
want to fill those wants, and the superego is set up to give us boundaries.
Gives you boundaries.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. It's superego was there to be the police,
Okay.
to help ease conflict, to ease challenge struggles within us, to bring us to that higher level.
Yes.
Because again, the id doesn't have a censor. The id's just like gimme. The
Right.
ego is in the middle, and then the superego is okay.
It's like, but this is wrong.
This is wrong. Here's the boundaries. Here's the values.
shouldn't take this.
Here's the belief system.
You shouldn't eat this.
Yeah, exactly.
You shouldn't want more.
Yes.
It's wrong to want more.
It's
And then
wrong.
the ego's like, but I want it. Let me figure out a way to work the system, to manipulate, to massage, and work the system to get what I want.
I think she knows some emotional vampires. Ladies and gentlemen. Chris is laughing in the chat room. That was crazy. it made him like Charlie Sheen. He's going back to Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen. Yeah,
He
Charlie
liked
Sheen is definitely a character. He actually makes us laugh as well. But here's the thing. I in a couple of minutes, we're going to be speaking to our super coach extraordinaire, Lisa Tosti, all the way from Toronto. Will be here with us shortly. But in the meantime, we talked about Freud, right? That's like the 1900s. Let's bring it into now the 21st century.
In the 21st century.
I really love Eckhart Tolle. Do you guys know Eckhart Tolle? He wrote A New Earth.
New Earth and the Power of Now.
The New Earth and the Power of Now. The whole thing about The Secret. Everything that Oprah went crazy about for the last 5 to 7 years about the power of attraction and law of attraction and all this other stuff.
Like attracts
so
like.
Eckhart Tolle has a breakdown. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
For the ego. And he says the following. He says, what most people call love is actually the ego's strategy to avoid surrender. Little heady, right?
That is
a little heady. So what he's saying is, if you what we do when we first find somebody is we focus that quote unquote love energy onto them, right?
Yes.
And what we're doing is we're projecting that supposed love feeling onto them, so that we don't actually have to open up and we don't actually have to be vulnerable here on this side.
Interesting, yes.
So what we do is, oh my God. Oh my God, I can't. Oh my God, this is great. Every time you kiss me, I go crazy. Oh my God, my panties light on fire when you look at me. Oh my God, when you're and it's just all projecting the love feeling onto the other person, What that does, it allows you not to actually have to open up and be vulnerable because all the attention is projecting onto the other person. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Well, that's a great.
Before we get Lisa Tosti on the phone today.
Yeah, Lisa's going to be here any second. That's a very interesting concept. I hadn't actually thought about that, but totally, I think Eckhart Tolle is definitely onto something there. So I'm projecting onto you, I'm projecting onto the person I love, projecting onto the other person, all of the things that I want to come back to me. I'm actually not really showing up as my true self. I'm showing up as a piece of me, best piece of me, and I figure
but you're not actually putting it out there.
Well, to an extent, I am, and where the challenge comes in for a lot of people is they do that for not a sustainable time. They attain it for a month to 3 months, and they go out and they say, I'm going to be this wonderful, great person, and I love you, and I think you're amazing, I think you're beautiful, I think you're wonderful, I think you're kind, I think you're giving, I think you're sweet, I think you're sensitive, all of those great things, and you're right, I'm not really showing up as me.
You're not showing up. He says the following. He says, to your ego, as far as your ego is concerned, and your ego is driving the bus here, okay? As far as,
it's Lisa Tosti.
Mark and Michaela online. Who are we on the phone with?
Well, hello, Mark and Michaela. It's Lisa. How are you?
Lisa is on the phone with us tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Woo!
Yeah, baby. Baby. Hold on, I gotta do this.
Oh yeah, baby. Now we can get this party started, Mama. How are you? How are you tonight, Lisa?
I am fabulous. I am just changing capes. I made it in for my son's soccer game, cheering for him.
Yes.
Taking the super mom cape off, putting the super coach cape on, and I'm ready to chat with you guys.
Love
All
it.
good.
So
love
was he wearing his Portuguese shirt and did he go?
No, but he did win 3-0, and I was, cheering loudly, as I'm sure, Michaela, you'd understand, like a good mom. And I thought, well, I need my voice tonight. I probably should stop screaming at some point.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. So, Lisa, we're not going to say much about the fact that you're a Portuguese fan. We'll move right into the topic of the night. Since
Listen,
Portugal,
I just went for a party, but go ahead. I will put that aside. Go ahead, Mark.
Yes. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for calling in all the way from Toronto. What's the weather like up there tonight?
It's fabulous. Actually, it's just really about an hour difference from where you're at. So it was a little rainy, but it's a perfect night to be listening to you two. Where else would I be on a Monday night?
Absolutely. You know what? You know how to say all the right things. We're going to give you another clap and a round of applause for that one. Yes.
Yeah, baby.
Ow!
So, Miss Lisa, so a couple of questions for you around this whole topic of the emotional vampire and the ego. So, what's your definition of an emotional vampire?
What is your take on this whole phenomenon?
Phenomenon. Well, it's interesting for me. I mean, I look at it from two ways. So if you look at it from a behavioral point of view, I see it as someone who really lacks sensory acuity. You know, really understanding the impact they have on other people. So really center focus, not really noticing they haven't maybe asked someone a question in the last 25 minutes or the impact they have on the room, right?
Yes.
The visual I have is that life is their stage and everyone else is the audience.
Ooh. Oh, Lisa, hold on.
That's a good one. I'm going to have to clap for that one. Yes. You got
I want that noisemaker, Mark. Get me that noisemaker.
Woo!
Life
isn't
is
it great
their
having?
stage.
Isn't it great having the clap track? Every time you're at home and you're like, "All right, guys, get it ready for dinner," and you clap.
That's it. I want that for my clients and with my kids. Yeah, I think I deserve some applauses.
That's a great. I love that. Life is their stage and we are their audience. Great distinction. Wow.
That is fantastic. Continue sharing your pearls of wisdom with us, my Yoda up in Toronto.
Well, it's also, if you look at it, for me, everything seems to be two things: who you're showing up as and where you're putting your focus. So if we take the first one then about focus, then when someone is more focused in a conversation or leading a company or in a relationship, and their focus is, what can I get out of this? Instead of what can I give?
Me.
What's the exchange? That, for me, is a great way to get a distinction on a person. Where is their focus?
Where is their focus? So if their focus is, what can I get out of this? You have possibly come across an egomaniac.
Possibly.
Yes, an emotional vampire.
An emotional vampire. I love that. So, Lisa, when you are in a business consulting type of vibe and you're dealing with CEOs and very powerful individuals who are making and breaking businesses and who are wheeling and dealing and making things happen, do you ever come across this phenomenon of egomaniacs? And if so, how do you impart your lovely and wonderful female energy,
feminine radiance and brains? Ladies and gentlemen out there,
she is the epitome of radiance, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Well, Mark, you have seen me at my work. You have seen what I do. I will tell you that what is amazing, to even maybe flip the question a bit, but to say what the most amazing leaders, whether they be moms or dads, because you're a leader if you're in your family or you're leading a business, are people who really have that focus on how to give. Because if you're coming from a place about what's in it for me, whether it's in business, in a relationship again, or with family, that's quickly spotted these days. You don't have a long lifespan for people with that focus, if you know what I'm saying. It's more needing to be more congruent in who you are and what you're looking to give. So yes, you can come across that no matter what area you're looking in. What I like to focus on is talking to people about what result do you want to get.
What result do they want?
What result do they want?
Yeah, so
okay, gotcha.
What goals they're looking for. When you're talking about whether it's in business or in anything. So if you think about the idea of what goal do people want to get, what are they looking to achieve? And Mark and I were having a conversation, we're talking about how life doesn't lie. And Mark, you were talking about, manifesting or like attracts like.
Yes, law of attraction, yes.
Absolutely. You can take a look at your life and see how are you showing up. What are you calling in, right? Are you calling in the type of life where, you have a lot of people who are drained around you, who there isn't that tennis ball in a conversation happening? Or are you giving a life where it's really one where you're really showing up and you feel that you're giving in a room? I think you can tell the difference, right?
Yes.
So that helps a bit of distinction on who you're being. And, again, with the people I'm working with.
Yes, very much so. Very, very much so. So how do you help your clients? Specifically, how do you help a client who comes to you who is coming from that place of, you said focusing, not a focus on contribution, but a focus on themselves, a focus on what they can get and not on what they can give. How do you help them in that situation?
Well, sometimes for me again, speaking always about reverse engineering life, right? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? What's the life you want to be living?
Yes.
And then thinking, who do you have to be to get that life, right? You've ever heard of the analogy, dress for the job you want?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's kind of like be the person who would get the life you want or the goal you want, right?
Yeah,
so when you ask the question, when you hear people talk about it's everyone else's fault, right? Everyone else is to blame. The reality is we can only impact ourselves. That's who we have control over. So it starts with you. You know, how do you show up in life with people to get the result that you're looking after? That's really the crux of it all for me. Who are you being or who are you becoming?
So,
does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
So
that does make sense.
I hear you say get clear around where you want to go, define who you want to be, and in that definition of who you want to be, I guess you're taking a reality check of who you actually are at that point, and then from there you're able to help them shift from the takers to becoming more of a giver to get them to that vision, to that clarity of that vision, if I'm hearing you correctly on that.
Absolutely, because that's when you can see the gap. When you can see, I want to be in a fabulous, loving, passionate relationship where someone really hears me and listens to me.
Yes.
That's great. Then who do you need to be to get that? Probably someone who listens.
Okay.
That's what Mark's saying about the like attracts like.
Yes.
So, Lisa, what about those clients who sound like this? I'm so depressed, Lisa. I'm so sad. Nothing good ever happens for me. Never. Never. I don't think that you can help me, Lisa Tosti. I actually have been through so much in my life, and do you know I've been diagnosed with depressive disorder, and I'm depressed, and I don't think that there's anything that I can do to make me not depressed, because this is my life and this is the cards that I've been dealt. So I don't really think you can help me.
Wow. There, I had to say that.
Wow. Lisa just fell off her chair in Toronto. Yes.
Yeah.
That might be a too big a one. That might be too big.
No, nothing is too big.
I got it.
Nothing is too big for Lisa. She is our Yoda.
Yoda.
No, well, here's the thing. When people there's a thing, are you in love with the change and in love with the vision that you want for yourself, or are you in love with the story?
Yeah, but I'm not going to be able to change this story. I'm depressed. The doctor told me so.
See, that's interesting. And we could just go on for all of that, because I got a bunch of stuff on that.
Woo, go ahead, girl.
Owning your power, about what your beliefs are, about what their future vision is. I mean, we could go. Mark knows.
Yes.
But the emotion, and when you have people who are really in love with the story, right?
There you go. In love with the story, and that's where the emotional vampire comes from.
Exactly. In love with the story and what they're getting from, right? Because there's something people are getting in whatever story. My suggestion is find one that empowers you, that serves you to get the goal you want. I think when you really have this vision, and here's what's great about what you guys are doing tonight, about bringing this topic up to people. What's great about it is some people may not have recognized this pattern in them. So it could be a wake-up call for some people. For other people, what could be great is that they're recognizing that, hey, I'm in a relationship like this. But they have the choice to do something different tomorrow.
So sometimes it's the first step is identifying that you are being that emotional vampire somehow or another, and then changing the course.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Self-awareness.
Absolutely being aware of that, and then understanding. And the choice is yours. It's really, again, so if you're really thrilled with your life that you're living, you've got everything you want, you know what I mean? Take a look at it. If you're unhappy in an area, that's an area you can explore. Who do I need to be? And again, the emotional vampire component.
Yes.
Feeding on a story that I'm depressed, is that giving you what you want? Is that really helping you make the change?
Yeah. About, did you hear her about?
I heard the about. I heard the, don't you ever change that? That is the most adorable.
Out and about.
You know what I love? I love that Mark talks to me about an accent.
You know what? We have to clap for that one.
Yes.
We have to clap for that
So
one.
Lisa, moving right along since we're about out of time. So how does somebody shift this behavior within themselves in a very powerful way? So we've helped them become aware of it. We've helped them recognize it. They want to change it. So how do we start and how do we help them shift this behavior?
Great. So again, think about it in different ways. So we talk, in your show, you talk a lot about masculine, feminine, right? So a woman, for example, let's take me, loves to talk, right? You probably picked that up already.
Who, us? No.
And listen to, I wanted to help with the distinction, because someone speaks a lot does not mean they're an emotional vampire, right?
Right.
Being a very feminine woman, wanting to speak, that happens. So for the men and women listening, understanding one way you can help with this or make the shift, for example, as we were speaking, you can let your partner know or someone know, say, listen, I need 15 minutes of your time, and I just need to just talk about this. And I don't need you to fix or do anything. I just need to speak about this. And who this works great with is men.
Yes.
Because my husband now knows I would talk on end, he'd be stressed over this. And now we have this code where I say, babe, I just need to talk. 15 minutes, and then you're off the hook. I got to get it off my chest.
Right.
And he'll say to me, are we fixing something, or are you just talking? And I say, baby, talking is fixing. He hates that.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
And also, Lisa, thank you for that. That's amazing. And also for the men and the ladies out there, just to reiterate what Lisa said, for the ladies, when you're speaking to your man, let him know there is an ending, that it's not going to go on for all day and all night.
For all eternity.
For all eternity. And men, you need to show up for those 15 minutes because there is nothing to fix. There's nothing broken. She wants to connect.
She just wants
She
you
just
to
wants to
hear
connect.
her
She wants
out.
to hear. She wants to be heard. That's it. Great stuff.
We
Lisa.
just want to vent, right, Lisa?
Yes.
That's it. That is fixing.
They want to
That
vent.
is the solution.
Yes, that is the solution.
Lisa, we appreciate you. We love you. Your energy is absolutely 100% amazing. Let's get a round of applause to Lisa Tossi all the way from Toronto.
Thank you very much, Mark, Michaela. Thank you. Fabulous show. I love it. I'll continue listening. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much.
So Lisa, before you leave, I believe you're working on a project.
A project, yes.
Yeah.
I love the way you said it, my big Canadian accent. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that before you leave. What are you working on?
Oh, actually, I have a number of great things that are coming up. Some little projects on the side, some books, some courses, some shows that are coming up. So I would love to keep in touch if anyone wants to follow it. You can, Mark's putting me up. You can get Coach Lisa Tossi on Facebook, and I will keep everyone in tune, and maybe Mark and Michaela will talk again when I have everything coming out. And we will.
I'm looking forward to your book, Lisa.
100%. Thank you so much. We are so looking forward to your book. Thanks. Let's give another round of applause to Lisa. Coach Lisa.
Thank you, everyone. Great night.
Good night, Lisa.
We love you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I just want to keep Lisa Toasty around. She makes me feel warm and toasty. Am I allowed to?
Toasty, you can say toasty.
Am I allowed to say that she makes me feel warm and toasty?
She makes you feel warm.
She is so fantastic. Thank you so much. Guys who are just logging on, thank you so much for being here. We are Mark and Michaela online. We're about to go to a quick music video break. This particular video gives you an example of how Charlie Sheen says he's not bipolar. He's just made and cut from a different cloth. Wow. He's just better than everybody. He just has tiger's blood running through his veins. Ha ha. Yeah, okay. Keep it locked right here on Mark and Michaela online. We'll be right back. And when we come back, we're going to give you tips on, or really a list of, how do you know that ego is driving the bus? How do you know when ego is taking over? Maybe it's you.
It's you.
Being the egomaniac.
It is you.
Maybe it's your wife, husband, significant other, brother, sister, mother,
co-worker.
boss, co-worker driving the bus. But sometimes you need to identify it in order to be able to understand
change,
it and get a handle
recognize,
on it, right?
and move ahead, and like Lisa had said, find that vision to move ahead towards to get there.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. Keep it locked right here on Mark and Michaela.
Online.
We'll be right back. Charlie Sheen's coming up next. Hold on.
He really wanted to prove to you. Morning again, George, and he claims no drugs right now, but we did talk a lot about his past drug use, and it's
Not
exciting
anymore,
and fun.
Not anymore. It bored the hell out of me after a while. I was like, okay.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight to Mark and Michaela Online, your place for life, love,
And everything in between.
yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are here from every Monday from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, of course, on the hottest and the most transformational, and the place where you're going to talk about all of the things that is going on in your life. NightlineRadio.com. You are here with us. We are here with you. Let's talk. Let's get it on in the break part.
And frequently.
Oh, that sounded good, actually.
Yeah.
That sounded really good.
Quick shout out to the chat room.
Yeah,
Quick shout out to
absolutely. Shout out to the chat room. Who do we
Chat
have
room.
on the chat room right now?
Zuli77, thank you.
Zuli77 is here with us.
Zuli's crocheting the blanket as she's listening to
She
it.
is a multitasking, lovely woman. Who else do we have?
We have Mr. Joe Moffat all the way from San Diego.
Moffat is on the air with us tonight. Oh, Joe Moffat, thank you so much. Joe Moffat, we want to know, do you know any emotional vampires?
Yes.
Do you have anyone in your life who drains you? Or have you ever been the emotional vampire? I want to know. I know I have. I know we have. All of us, in one point or another in our life, have been the drag, have been the drainer. All things energy. It
And
happened.
then we have in the chat room, we have Lexi the Dancing.
Lexi the Dancing Diva
liking
is
that.
here.
The Dancing Diva.
First of all, Lexi the Dancing Diva is one of the most dynamic and amazing women on the planet. And I'm going to give her this kids cheer. Thank you so much for being here, Lexi the Dancing Diva. She is fantastic. We are talking about emotional vampires tonight and the people who love them.
And the people who love them, because
We're obsessed with them.
obsessed with them. They need that energy. They need that person. Me. Feed them. Look at Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen. I had no
Charlie
idea.
Sheen is
he
absolutely
was
out of his
such
mind.
an emotional
He's got tiger
vampire.
blood.
He's got something
He's
going
got
on
tiger
there.
blood.
And he's had how many years of that has he lived?
20,
lived like
25, 30
Crazy.
years of just me. And here's the thing. How do you know, Mark Logue, when ego is driving the bus in the situation that you're in? How do you know that ego is driving the bus in the relationship that you're in?
So-
How do you know when you're at work and you're dealing with a coworker that ego is the one that's driving the bus there? How do we know this?
It's how about we go through this list, this top 10 list we have.
You know what? I
for
like
the
that.
ego. Yes, let's do it.
I like it.
So top 10 signs. Yeah. Woo! Look at those guns, ladies and gentlemen. Look at those guns. All right.
Okay.
All right. Take it easy.
All
Take
right.
it easy. Take it easy.
Egomaniac.
Egomaniac.
Is rumored around Hollywood to be the ultimate nasty,
Yeah, I've heard that actually.
nasty egomaniac. Do you know that he actually went to jail for assaulting his mother and his sister during an argument?
I heard that.
Because they were questioning him how he was spending. He flipped the script on them and smacked both of them and gave his mother a concussion.
Wow. That's
Christian Bale is the ultimate egomaniac.
He is the ultimate egomaniac.
It's so. We have a recording. You guys are gonna just cringe. This is gonna drive you absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, listen to this, folks.
We have a recording of Christian Bale going ballistic on somebody on set of a movie. Listen to how condescending he is. Listen to how much of an egomaniac he is. Just to give you an idea of when somebody's ego gets inflated and gets the best of them, how nasty they are. Keep it locked right here on Mark and Michaela Online. When we come back, we're going to go over signs someone is an emotional vampire. And then later on in the hour, we're going to talk about, really quickly, we're going to talk about self-worth, because all of this stems
Yes.
from low self-worth, doesn't
Very
it?
much so. Very, very
So
much
keep it locked right here on Mark and Michaela Online. And you're going to... Here,
I
go
want
back.
you off the fucking Rick. Sorry. No, don't just be sorry. Think for one fucking second. The fuck are you doing? You need to be fucking watching a
keeping it on.
Wow, goodness gracious.
Wow. Thank you so much for tuning in with us right here on Mark and Michaela Online, your place for life, love,
and everything in between.
Tonight we're talking about emotional vampires and the people who love them. Not only that, we're also talking about egomaniacs and people who drain the energy and suck the life out of others. God,
Excuse me.
bless you.
What?
God loves you.
God does love me. Loves me very, very much.
God loves you very, very much. Thank you so much for being here. Those of you guys who were on the chat room, thank you so much for being here all the way from 8 o'clock until now.
Yes.
And for those of you guys who are on your smartphone listening to us from iTunes, Top 40 Radio, TuneIn Radio app, and Radio Loyalty, I thank you very much.
I love when she does that. Isn't she amazing? So, Miss Michaela, let's talk about some signs that somebody is an emotional vampire.
Signs you are an emotional
vampire.
All they do is cry.
All they do is whine.
All they do is yell.
All they do is fight.
They're always bored. And that is a wrap.
They love you 1 minute, they hate you the next.
They never have anything positive to say.
They scoff at other people's success.
And I am Michaela.
Poo-poo, poo-poo.
Everything out of their mouth is poisonous.
They criticize everyone around them, especially themselves.
They have a blank stare on their face all the time, like this.
Life
Love
and everything
in between.
They are never happy, ever.
They never are to blame for anything.
They're
It's always somebody else.
The finger goes that way all the time. Everyone. This is
Oh, this is a good one.
everyone is against them.
Everyone's always against them. They dwell on the past 100% of the time. Oh, God.
When they succeed at something, they find a way to downplay it and expect to fail at
Do
it.
you guys ever feel this way? And have you ever had someone in your life that has behaved this way? If so, unfortunately, they're an emotional vampire.
They are.
But here's the thing, Mark Logue. Emotional vampires, egomaniacs, people who just take. There's a root.
Gimme.
There's a root to that. Underneath all of that, that's coming from somewhere. Does this emotional vampire need? Why is this person an egomaniac? Why is the egomaniac the most insecure out of the entire group? What's going on there?
Fear. F-E-A-R. False
Fear.
evidence appearing real.
No?
They have a fear, and Lisa touched on this. The fear is underneath, and you also mentioned it earlier on.
I did.
That they are not worthy. They're not enough. It boils down to the fact that that person feels, I am not worthy, I'm not enough.
So at the root
root
is not feeling worthy.
I'm just not worthy, I'm not enough. So who could really love me? I'm not worthy of being loved. As a result of that, I have to act this way. So let me take the preemptive strike.
Okay.
Let me strike first and strike and lash out, because I know they're eventually going to do that to me because I'm not worthy of love. And that's what I feel at my core.
That's so. You know, babies are born with self-worth. They're born proud of themselves. They laugh at themselves when they fall. The babies are born with self-worth. What happens is, as life moves on, comments, negative comments,
Yes.
parents' expectations, cruel jokes, attitudes of others wear down the natural born self-worth of a person.
Yes.
We are all born with self-worth. That means that we can get back to it.
That's a great distinction, yeah.
Don't you think?
Great point.
If we're
great
born
point,
with
yes.
it, don't you think it's in there?
It's in there. It's in there in all of us. We all have this belief and love of ourselves. At our very core, we have that belief and love, and we can get back
It's
there.
in there.
For some of us, we've stacked values and beliefs and occurrences and things that have happened in life and events that have happened in life and people's, again, when that is very firm in rules and beliefs and values and very strict, Roman Catholic background, Spanish background, the religious background. When you look at the religious background, there's a lot of weight put on you there.
True.
You should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. You're not enough in this. And that starts to build and stack, and then we get this weight.
You're right.
Right? And it brings us down to we're not enough.
Exactly.
We're not enough, right?
And if you guys are finding that your self-worth is being worn down either by your upbringing, by constant negativity in your own life, or by your significant other, believe it or not, you can make a shift in this.
Yes.
You can change this around. Your self-worth can actually start being built up. You can start making deposits instead of taking withdrawals all the time.
Yes. So this is good stuff, Michaela.
Right?
This is great
really
stuff.
good.
The next 15 minutes.
We broke it down for you, all these crazy things about self-worth. I mean, about egomaniacs and emotional vampires and people who just suck everybody else dry, and maybe that's you.
Yes.
I know it's been me on occasion.
Yes. You could be the sucker or the sucky.
You know, I have to clap for that.
Are you the sucker or the sucky?
So here's the thing. Self-esteem and self-worth, according to dictionary.com, is the sense of one own's value. Isn't that interesting? The
Value.
sense of your own value, that means you bring value to this earth. You are valuable in this life. And if you start to incorporate that into your life, and you start to believe that and step into that, you're actually going to start to adopt it and take it on like a reality, don't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to own the story.
So what are some things that we can do to build our self-worth? All of us, you know, Mark and I, that we preach, number one, and everything that we write, we're living it.
We're living it.
Okay,
we do.
so this is the stuff we wanted to share with you because it's working for us.
Yes.
So how do we build self-worth?
Yeah, so, you know, one of the great things, great question, Michaela. Isn't she just amazing?
I'm going to clap for myself.
I grew up on a farm, so that works for me. Anyway,
I'm done.
So one of the first things about that is shift your attitude about yourself. So look, how you perceive yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you nourish yourself, how you value yourself, how you judge yourself, how you treat yourself. It's so important. It's not external. It doesn't come, somebody else doesn't say, I love you. You have to look in the mirror and you have to say, I love you.
You have to love yourself.
I like you and I love you. Yes, I'm not perfect, but you know what? I'm going to be better than I was, because perfection is a very low standard.
No, perfection is not
Perfection
realistic.
means there's only one way to achieve something. So what we invite you to do is to strive to become better. Strive to become better.
Shift your attitude, okay?
So you
Stop that stinking thinking.
Stop the stinking thinking. Oh, I like that one.
You like
We're going to
that
give you a clap.
one?
Give yourself a
Clap
clap
for
for that. You know, so one of the great things you can do is you can actually look in the mirror. You can, as you go for a walk, you can give yourself an affirmation. You can say, I am a great father. I am a great boyfriend. I am a great man.
I'm lovable.
I'm a great lover. I am lovable.
I'm funny.
All that I need is within me now. I am a funny person. I'm kind. I'm giving. I'm genuine. I'm sincere. Look and list all the positive traits that you are, because you are all of these things.
Yes.
You're all of these things. We invite you to look at the positive. Expand on the positive. Expand on the positive.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it. Okay, second thing that we can do to build our self-worth. Trust your own feelings and listen to your gut. If your gut is telling you the situation you're in is wrong for you, it is. If your intuition is telling you that the situation that you're in is detrimental to you and is breaking down your self-worth, get out of there. Trust your gut and trust your intuition at all times. When you stand firm in your intuition and your gut, no one can steer you wrong. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Your intuition is there to help you survive and to help you thrive. We've mentioned this before on prior shows. That intuition comes from your gut, and your gut has millions of neurons comparable to what's in the brain. It's there for a reason.
Absolutely,
it's there to help you.
100%.
So listen to it.
What's the next?
And taking inventory on who you are. Like I said earlier, nourish yourself. Treat yourself. Expand on what is positive within you.
But be open
And
to
be
look
open.
at your
Yes.
uglies. That's what
Yes.
this is about.
Yes.
Be open
Yes.
to self. Look at yourself for who you really are. Take stock of who you
Yeah.
really are.
Yeah.
And whatever it is.
Be kind to yourself.
Yeah, be kind to yourself.
kind to yourself.
But you have to be open and be willing to look at yourself in the mirror.
Can I invite everybody out there to remove two words remove the word but, and remove the word should from your life. Remove the word but, remove the word should. Michaela, I think you're absolutely beautiful. But you know what?
I like big
Butts and I cannot lie. Are you sure you want me to remove the word butt?
Yes, B-U-T, not B-U-T-T.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
So the word
I
but
will
is
do
a
that.
negative and the word should is fraught with conflict. So take those two words out of your vocab.
Got it.
All right.
Next one. Tell yourself you matter. I like that little thing here. I'm going to sprinkle you with fairy dust.
Love that. Yeah, that's
Tell
very
yourself you matter because you really do. And I hate to sound fluffy and I don't want to sound like one of those fluffy little pamphlets. Okay? But you do matter. And unless you feel like you matter, no one else will treat you as such.
nice. Again, we're back to the law of attraction. What you put onto the world is what you're going to get back. Your self-perception, hit it. Your self-perception is the projection that you project to the world. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what I
don't know.
believe about myself,
Everything
truly
you-
believe,
Yes.
truly believe at my core, not just because I got pumped up and I went to the gym and I'm going to walk around like an emotional vampire for a day, a week, or a month, but what I truly believe at my core is what I bring back into my life.
I like it.
All right,
I
good.
like everything you say, though. You're just adorable. Okay, next one is be generous with others with your energy, your time, your attention, your positive feedback. If you want nice, be nice.
Be nice, yes.
That's it. That's all I'm
Yes.
going to say about that one.
Yes.
We're going to go keep moving on because that's it. Be nice because people are very nasty lately.
I would expand on that just very, very briefly. Contribution, and Lisa brought this up as well.
Briefly.
Very briefly, when you make a contribution to somebody else or to something else other
Yes.
than yourself,
Yes.
it feeds you. You're feeding others and it feeds you. So feed others as often as you can. Make a contribution in some way, shape, or form. It could be as simple as, don't you look beautiful? It could be as simple as a smile. It could be as simple as a compliment. Make a contribution. Moving right along.
I like it. Moving right along. Take responsibility for past ego-driven behavior that may have caused hurt to others. If you have been a biatch,
An a-hole.
if you have been an a-hole, take responsibility, ask for forgiveness, and forgive yourself. Move on. Okay, clean up your messes. If you've been an a-hole and if you've been a biatch, clean up your mess and keep it moving along. Okay, ask for forgiveness and keep it moving. What's
Yeah,
the next
and take
one?
responsibility. Forgive yourself for past indiscretions.
Same thing, right?
It's the exact same thing. And to forgive oneself is critical for you to be able to move forward. So forgiveness, we could do a whole show on forgiveness,
Oh,
but
God,
forgive
that's
yourself
gonna
on
be
that.
another
So
show, yeah.
move on to the next one.
Okay, work on being resilient. You know what? Some days you are going to have a bad day.
Yeah,
Be
of course.
resilient. Snap out of it. Keep it moving. Okay, the boo-hoo, woe is me, oh my God, no one loves me. No one wants to hear that. We all get tired of listening to you. Say that. I'm tired of listening to you whine. Okay.
There are days, the physical gym, you go to the gym to lift weights to stay strong and fit. There's days the emotional gym, it's tiring as
It's
well.
exhausting.
It's exhausting. So again, go back to the earlier point. Forgive yourself, nourish yourself, be kind to yourself. Next point.
Like it.
Break the habit.
Break the habit of being a people pleaser.
Ooh.
People pleasers are, believe it or not,
Pleaser.
are a form of egomaniac. Because they're going to do nice things for you only to get the praise back.
So you're saying if I cook and I clean and I do laundry and I do all these things and I spend all this time for you, I'm trying to please you so that you're going to actually feed me back?
So that I'm only going to love you if you do those things.
Ah, so I'm giving to get.
You're giving to get. People who give only to
only to get.
receive
Yes.
are actually ego-driven people, believe it or not.
Oh.
Because if you give, just because, guess what?
Contribution.
Contribution.
You get it back 10 times
If you
over.
give only to get, you're really a taker in disguise.
You're a taker in disguise. Oh, yes, you are.
Okay.
Taker in disguise. Oh, yes, you are. Don't get me started.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
We're going to do one more, and then we're going to go into the next section real quick.
Break.
Go for it.
Value your time and make time for yourself. Evaluate the balance between the time you give away and the time you spend on you. So,
I
ladies
like
and
the next
gentlemen,
one. Okay, but go.
very, very quickly on that. When you hop on a plane, the flight attendant, you're strapped into the seat. The flight attendant says, ladies, about to take off. In the event of an emergency, the oxygen mask will deploy. When the oxygen mask deploys, put it on yourself. So put it on yourself first, because when you are in a place where you're nourished, you're happy, you're full, your tanks are full, you can then help everybody else and you can make that contribution.
Make time for yourself.
So it's okay to make time for yourself and balance it with what you give to others. So the other side of it is you can be an emotional vampire and take. We're inviting you to give to yourself first and to give to others and have that happy balance in your life.
Live in the present. Let go of the past. Let go of the past. Let it go. Let it go. That's all I'm going to say about it. Let's keep moving.
You live in the past, you're destined to repeat it. Learn to overcome fear of self-love.
Why are people so afraid of loving themselves? We have this thing of, oh, well, if I love myself, that means I'm conceited. That means I'm self-centered.
Society brings you up a little bit.
That's societal baggage that really shouldn't be there.
And there's also a whole Christianity thing, as religious thing. It's like, I grew up in Ireland with all that rubbish, and they'd be like, listen,
be good to yourself.
You're big-headed, and if you're good-looking, or if you're this and you're that, and you're confident. They put you down because, like, well,
if you have self-esteem, then you're conceited.
So that's a case of sometimes, no disrespect to my Roman Catholic friends out there. I'm a practicing Roman Catholic. However, the value system that they threw upon us did kind of force us to not nourish ourselves. So the value and the belief in the education we got growing up wasn't necessarily the right information. And, Michaela, I think your point there of living in the present, letting go of the past. If you live in the past, you're destined to repeat it, and it will be your present and your future.
So
over and over and over again.
Absolutely. Guys, that was good. I like that. The striped shirt is making me crazy, and then you're talking with that accent. Okay. Right. For us, was just about introducing you to the concept that we're all living every single day. Emotional vampires, ego-driven behavior, people who are takers. If maybe you're the person who's doing all the taking. Sometimes it's hard to look in the mirror and actually see things for what it really is.
It's not that hard.
Well, it's not that hard for me either. Just kidding. But here's the thing. Ego-driven behavior is a lack of self-worth.
Yes, lack of self-esteem.
And having self-esteem is actually a really great thing. So we invite you to kind of try that on, the tips that we just gave you, the steps we just gave you. And there's a lot of freedom in loving yourself. There's a lot of freedom in feeling good about yourself. So talk to us about the acronym that we created tonight for the word freedom. There's a lot of freedom in self-esteem.
We're creating a lot of acronyms here. So
we
freedom.
Really are, yes.
F. Good about yourself every day. Remind yourself of your best qualities.
R. Return to your childhood positive outlook. Regain that childhood view on life and go live it. Be young again.
Go jump in a puddle.
E.
E. Enrich. Enrich the lives of those you love by spending quality time with friends, family, and loved ones. Share your outlook with them.
I like it. E. Enlighten those around you about you stepping into the positive thinking. If you don't include everybody, they're not going to be in on it with you.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, so especially those that are all share your light with them.
Yes. D. Don't forget to stand up for your beliefs and stand steadfast in your standards. The way your life goes from now on is up to you. It's a choice. It's something you do.
You waiting for me to say the next? I love him so much. Like, That's the end of the show, sweetheart.
That's the end of the show?
Yes.
That's it. We're done.
He's so in love with you guys. Oh, actually, I'm going to do this. He's so in love with you guys that he just wants to keep going.
Yes, indeed. So
what are your last parting words, Mark Logue, to our beautiful friends, fans, and people who are listening and watching?
So this is my gift to you is treat yourself with love, treat yourself with kindness, nourish yourself every day. In the morning when you get up, ask yourself the question, what am I grateful for? What did I learn yesterday? I give to. The first person you give to is yourself. Nourish yourself, treat yourself with kindness, treat yourself with love. When you start to do this, life will start to have this great sense of fulfillment. You know, this country in the Western success. So I'll invite
I like that.
With the science of success. So embrace the art of fulfillment.
I don't
with
know.
The science
I don't
of
care
success.
what he says. Ladies, am I right on here? I don't care what he says, it's all good.
He's a crazy psycho host piece, and I don't know what to do. You
that's
gotta help me, man.
He's a crazy psycho. So be good to yourself. Start your day off with I love me. I'm grateful. And first question, such a simple question. What am I grateful for? What am I grateful for?
Honey! Okay.
What am I grateful
He
for?
doesn't want to let you guys go. He's so in love with you guys, and he just won't stop.
Here to help.
But
Here to
thank you
give.
so much for tuning
Thank you
in
for
with us
tuning in.
tonight. This is Mark and Michaela Online. We are here every Monday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Of course, on the hottest and the most transformational, darling, internet radio station on the web, nightlineradio.com. We are here with you every single week. My name is Michaela.
And I am Mark.
And this is your show for life,
Love.
love and everything
In between.
We'll see you guys 2 weeks from next Monday on July 7th. And we love you. Thank you so much for being here. And we will see you next week. Bye.